All right, guys, I am feeling great again on a Sunday morning because we're coming fresh off a 4-0 day in my personal bets on BrockPage.com yesterday. It's actually going to put us at 12-3 in our last 15 bets on that website. Most important, guys, my $1.99 daily best play is red hot right now. We're 7-0 in our last 7 bets in that package. And the good news is, guys, if you sign up for my $1.99 daily best play, you're going to get access to that membership every single day all the way through the end of May. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick time out and welcome you to the video. My name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal sports bets on BrockPage.com. And once again, guys, I'm currently 7-0 in my last 7 $1.99 daily best plays on that website. Now the good news is today's $1.99 daily best play, it's only going to cost you just $1.99. Now the better news is if you sign up for that package here today, you're going to get access to that membership every single day all the way through the end of May. Now you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on BrockPage.com is actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. Now, guys, I currently have over 800 members who are signed up and active on my safe and secure website right now. And if you're worried about security or what happens with your credit card info, guys, I never see your credit card info or any of your personal information for that matter. I actually operate my website through a company called Patreon. And Patreon is a lot like OnlyFans, except I get to keep my clothes on. It's a massive, legit, soon-to-be publicly traded company who handles all your personal info. So once again, guys, I don't see any of your personal financial information other than your email address. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. Sorry about the shaky camera. We got the fan going, the AC going, so there's a lot of wind. I don't know why it's so bouncy. We just got a lot of wind going here, so the camera's a little shaky. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into our first contest. We're going to take a look at the Cardinals taking on the Pirates. 11:35 Eastern first pitch on Sunday, May 22nd, 2022. St. Louis is minus 155, totals 9. Steven Matz for St. Louis, Bryce Wilson for Pittsburgh. Now Wilson's still waiting on his first win of the season. He's 0-2 with a 5.67 ERA and a 1.59 whip. The Pirates have also lost 6 out of their last 9. And they've struggled significantly at the plate this year. Pirates are currently in the bottom 5 in OPS, and they're averaging only 3.4 runs per contest. They're taking on a St. Louis club who does a real nice job keeping their opponents from scoring themselves. They're allowing only 3.8 runs a game. They've got Steven Matz on the mound here today, who's got himself a whole bunch of strikeouts. Matter of fact, Matz has fanned 44 batters in just over 37 innings of work. And even though he's had a few shaky outings, Matt still has 3 wins on the year. Now, offensively, on the other side of things for St. Louis, it's Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, who are both in the top 10 of the bigs right now in runs batted in. When it comes to the total in this one, St. Louis saw 6 out of their last 10 meetings with Pittsburgh get over the line. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. Now, they also averaged nearly 6 runs a game during that stretch I just mentioned. I'm going to lean towards St. Louis minus 155 and the over 9. Next ball game, it is going to be Dodgers taking on the Phillies, 135 East. LA's minus 135, totals 9.5. Tony Gonsolin for Los Angeles, Zach Eflin for Philadelphia. And even though Eflin's put up some pretty good numbers this year, he simply can't get the W. He's just 1-3 on the season despite walking only 5 batters. And the Phils as a team, they've also played some pretty bad baseball over the past week or so. They're just 1-5 straight up in their last 6 outings. Only 2 runs a game they averaged during that stretch. They were actually shut out twice during that stretch as well. Now they're taking on a Dodger pitching staff who leads the majors right now in opponents' batting average. They also have Tony Gonsolin on the mound here today, who's been really good this season. The righty's 4-0 with a 1.64 ERA and a 1.03 WHIP. And even if Tony doesn't have his good stuff here today, his Dodger lineup is also leading the majors in scoring on average per game. Freddie Freeman's batting .311 with 14 doubles and 21 RBI. And speaking of runs batted in, Trey Turner's knocked in 28 runners on the season. And he ranks in the top 10 in the league in that category. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, LA's 13-6 to the under in their road games. Meanwhile, the Phillies are 61% to the under at Citizens Bank Park. I'm going to lean toward the LA Dodgers minus 135 and the over 9.5. Next contest, Rays, O's, 135 East. Tampa Bay's minus 175, totals 9. Corey Kluber for Tampa Bay, Spencer Watkins for Baltimore. And even though Watkins is having a bit of a tough year, the O's actually won 2 out of their last 3 ball games. They scored 17 total runs in those victories. Now, the Orioles are also one of the best run line teams in the game right now. They're currently 15-7 against the number at Camden Yards. That's good for over 68% in that category. Now, offensively, Trey Mancini's hitting .303 along with 16 RBI. Meanwhile, Austin Hayes has hit 11 doubles on the year already as well. They're taking on a Tampa team on the other side of things who struggles a bit at the dish away from home. These guys are actually in the bottom 10 in the bigs right now in road hits. They're also amongst the worst in the American League in strikeouts per 9 on the road. And even if the bats do end up coming alive here for Tampa Bay, they've got Corey Kluber on the mound here today, who typically that would be good news. But as far as this year's concerned, he's kind of been a bit of a shell of himself this season. The righty's just 1-2 on the year with a 4.29 ERA. Now, total-wise, Tampa's gone 60% to the under in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, Baltimore saw 7 out of their last 10 fall under the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Baltimore plus 1.5, keeping this one close, and the under 9 runs. Next ball game, it is going to be Mariners, Red Sox, 135 East. Boston's minus $1.25, totals 9.5. Nathan Eovaldi for Boston, Logan Gilbert for Seattle. Now, Gilby's having a pretty good season thus far for Seattle. He's 4-2 with a 2.40 ERA and a 1.11 WHIP. Now, Logan's also got himself a bunch of strikeouts on the year as well. 51 Ks in just 45 innings of work. And if for some reason Gilbert struggles here today, the Seattle lineup has been pretty good on the road this year. They're actually in the top 5 in the majors in road hits. And they're led by Ty France, who's batting .323 with 6 home runs and 28 RBI. Now, Seattle's taking on a Boston club who still has a losing record at Fenway despite their recent success. They've also struggled a bit offensively at home as well. They're currently in the bottom 10 in home scoring, and even if they do touch home plate a couple of times here today, they've actually have a struggling Nathan Eovaldi on the mound here today, who's got just 1 win on the season thus far, along with a 4.32 ERA. Now, total-wise, 9 out of these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings got over the number. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. The Red Sox are also 9-1 to the over in their last 10 outings this season as well. I'm going to lean towards Seattle plus 105 in the over 9.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Reds taking on the Blue Jays, 137 East. Toronto's minus 230, totals 8.5. Yusei Kikuchi for Toronto, Graham Ashcraft for Cincinnati making his debut. Now, the odds are stacked a little bit against Ashcraft here today. The Reds are allowing more runs on the road than any other team in the bigs right now. And they're also walking more batters on the road than any other team as well. And even if Graham does end up having a respectable debut, the Reds are winning just 24% of their road games this season. Their lineup's currently in the bottom 3 in the league in team batting average. Now they're taking on a Toronto team on the other side of things, who's won a bunch of games in Rogers Center this year themselves. These guys are actually 14-7 straight up at home. They also find themselves in the top 10 in fewest home runs allowed. Yusei Kikuchi, he's also improved to 2-1 on the season with a 3.38 ERA. Now the Cooch man's also averaging over a strikeout an inning. So pretty good numbers for Kikuchi. It was looking a little dicey there for him at the beginning of the year, but he's starting to turn things around here a bit. Now total-wise, Toronto saw their last 5 straight in their own building fall under the number. Meanwhile, the Reds went 6-2 to the under in their last 8 while batting first. I'm going to lean toward Toronto -1.5 and the under 8.5 runs in the tight window. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Braves taking on the Marlins, 1:40 p.m. East. Miami's -115, total 7.5. Sandy Alcantara for Miami, Ian Anderson for Atlanta. And even though Anderson's off to a pretty nice start, he does come into today's game with a 1.33 whip. And that's really not all too surprising, believe it or not, because the Braves are currently in the bottom 10 in the bigs right now and runs allowed per contest. So this is a pitching staff collectively that's had their difficulties this year. Now they're taking on a Miami squad who's in the top 10 in home hits. They're actually led by Jazz Chisholm, who has 27 RBI and 72 total bases. Now Miami's also got Sandy Alcantara on the bump here today, and he's looked real good. He's got a 2.49 ERA and a 1.11 whip. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Miami -115 and the under 7.5 runs. Next matchup, it is going to be Tigers Guardians, 1:40 East. Cleveland's -190, total 7.5. Shane Bieber for Cleveland, Alex Faedo for Detroit. And through 15 2/3 innings of work, Alex Faedo comes into today's game with a respectable 2.87 ERA. That's really not all too surprising considering this Detroit pitching staff does a nice job away from home. They're actually in the top 5 in road runs allowed, top 5 in road hits allowed as well. They're taking on a Cleveland squad who lost 5 out of their last 7 themselves, and they have a tough time scoring at Progressive Field. Matter of fact, this Guardians lineup is amongst the worst in the American League in hits per contest at home. They also have Shane Bieber on the mound here today, who hasn't been all too dominant this season. He's got himself just 1 win on the season, along with a 1.27 whip. When it comes to the number in this one, Cleveland's 60% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Tigers went 8-2 to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Detroit +1.5, keeping this one close, and the under 7.5 runs. Next ball game, it is going to be Twins taking on the Royals, 2:10 Eastern start time. Minnesota's -115, total 7.5. Bailey Ober for Minnesota, Brady Singer for Kansas City. And even though Singer is off to a nice start here this year, the Royals have lost their last 3 straight. And they also dropped 6 out of their last 9. And even if Singer throws another gem, this KC lineup has really had a tough time with run production. These guys are amongst the worst in the American League right now in home scoring. Now they're taking on a Twins team on the other side of things, who's got a pitching staff who's been really tough on the road this season. As a matter of fact, the Twins currently lead the majors in fewest road walks allowed. And in addition to that, they also have Bailey Ober on the hill here today, who's lost just 1 game this year and has a 2.75 ERA. Now when it comes to the scoring in this one, 4 out of Minnesota's last 5 road games did get over the posted total. Meanwhile, Kansas City 7-3 to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Minnesota -115 and the over 7.5. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where I'm currently 7-0 in my last 7 $1.99 daily best plays on that website. I like St. Louis minus $1.15 over 9 runs. Give me the Dodgers minus 135 over 9.5. I like Baltimore plus 1.5 under 9 runs. Give me Seattle plus 105 over 9.5. I also like Toronto minus 1.5 under 8.5 runs. Give me Miami minus $1.15 under 7.5. I'm also leaning toward Detroit plus 1.5 under 7.5. Give me Minnesota minus $1.15 over 7.5. As far as all the other games are concerned around the country, give me Texas plus 1.5 under 8.5. I like Milwaukee minus 1.5 under 8.5 runs. I'm also leaning toward the Cubs minus $1.25 over 7.5. Give me the Yankees minus 185 under 9 runs in Game 1. I'm also leaning toward the Mets minus $1.25 over 10.5. Give me San Diego plus 1.5 over 8 runs. I'm also leaning toward the Angels minus 1.5 over 7.5 runs. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on brockpage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my website, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on brockpage.com, you're going to get access to that content every single day all the way through the end of May. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet, every single package that I offer on that website, you're going to want to think about signing up for my board member package. Not only do you get access to the board member tier bet itself, you're going to get access to every single package, every single bet, every single day, all the way through the end of May. It's an all-inclusive membership. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, guys, happy Sunday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at brockpage.com.